Hey guys, this video is on dividing fractions and we are going to use fraction strips, and these are called fraction strips, I believe. If not, it's okay, but I'm going to call them fraction strips. And we've noticed that your teachers and I noticed that you guys are having such a big issue with dividing fractions. Now, one of the big issues with dividing fractions is that we look at this expression, 1 divided by a half, and we don't understand what it's saying. So I want you to turn it into a word expression. What do I mean by that? We're going to go ahead and write a sentence and say how many halves are in 1. So the key words are how many, and that's when we know that we're dealing with division. So what we're going to do is we're going to use these fraction strips, and what you're going to notice is that I am going to go ahead and represent the dividend with this big long 1, just like it says up here. And then I'm going to read my sentence again, and it says how many halves are in 1. And I'm going to grab my half strips and I'm going to go ahead and see how many of these guys fit in here. And I notice that 1, 2 halves fit in 1. So the answer to my expression here, 1 divided by a half, is equal to 2. So let's try another example. Let's pretend that I wanted to divide my whole into fourths. Remember, we don't understand 1 divided by a fourth, so let's change it and go ahead and write our word expression. How many fourths fit in 1? And now my brain starts to understand it a little bit better. Remember, the key words are how many. So I go ahead and I represent my dividend with this big 1. My divisor I'm going to represent with fourths, and I'm going to go ahead and check how many of these fourths fit into my 1. And I have to line them up real carefully so that way you understand that 4 of them fit into this. So 1 divided by 1/4 is 4. Pretty cool, right? Well, nothing changes. Some of you start to freak out when we start looking at something like this. 2/3 divided by 1/6. Remember, our brains really don't understand this, but if we change it to a sentence, it will. So we're going to go ahead and write them. How many 1/6, that's our divisor, are in 2/3, which is our dividend. Remember, that was our whole. Well, now this time, instead of using these guys, or should I say this big guy that represents a 1, I just want to represent 2/3. So I'm going to go ahead and grab my 2/3 and I'm going to lay them down. And now I know that I have 2/3. And I want to know how many 1/6 fit into these 2/3. So I'm going to go ahead and create what I call a second number line or strip, and I'm going to line it up right next to it. And I notice that as soon as I line them up and make them the same size, I notice that I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 1/6 fit into 2/3. So the answer to this, 2/3 divided into 1/6, is equal to 4.